So it's all to play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Hello, everyone. How are we doing?
Good evening.
Hello, Patrick.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm having a beer for myself. You know why? Because we've won football back. The fans have gotten football back, and we're going to prove it to the world tonight when we show people that Man City don't need to play Real Madrid, Barcelona. They don't need to play Bayern Munich. Well, Bayern Munich weren't in it, but you know what I mean. They don't need to play all these teams to have good games and for good games to happen. Leeds showed it to Liverpool, and we're going to do it again tonight, hopefully. And that's what we're here for. We're here to talk about it, and hopefully we will see. Hopefully, I haven't just set myself up for a massive fall, and we don't crowd 6-0 tonight.
Oh God, I hope not. I can't deal with another one of them. Wouldn't it be nice this once to get a decision going our way against Man City? Because it just feels for the last 4 or 5 games that it's just been one decision after another against us. So it'd be nice to get one up on them.
It would be absolutely fantastic to get one up on Man City. It would be absolutely fantastic to get one up on, I suppose, anyone at the moment, because we do need to get into a kind of a winning run again. I've spoken about this previously, whereby we have a tough enough, rough run in, I think, from that point of view. But you know, it is important to get that kind of I suppose stability as we go in towards the end of the season. You know, I see a couple of the comments. I saw one of the comments there. I think it was from Delboy. While it is nice to have our flip flops on at this stage of the year, when last year we were wondering, were we wearing lead shoes and sinking down into the next division? You know, this year it's good that we can still have a say in what we want to do if we want to do it. So I think there's a lot to be said for this game tonight. This game is, while it's probably taken on a kind of a mind of its own after the madness of last night, and I don't even know where to start with that. I thought I'd come in here full of all piss and vinegar and be able to dunk on top of all the clubs and stuff like that and say this is it. And look, I know I played that trailer there beforehand, but this club, as I said, over the last few days and last few hours, that, you know, wearing a badge like this, it just means a small bit more. You know, the fact that we're a club who, as of this moment in time, give a shit. You know, and that means a lot. You know, that means a good lot to football in general. We created the footballing pyramid, as everybody knows. We've been synonymous with a lot of the changes that have happened. We've been brought up in the argument as to why this shouldn't go ahead, specifically considering we're European Cup winners. You know, we are big, we are huge, and let's go out and show it there tonight. And I'm looking forward to seeing what team is going to be picked. And you know, I think I hope the players bring a small bit of attitude onto the field tonight, and let's go and have a crack off them. Let's go and have a crack off them.
The only thing is, like, you looked at Chelsea last night and Liverpool the night before. Most of the players didn't. Well, I presume all of the players didn't want this anyway. So, I would imagine that you're not going to get the same kind of fight, let's call it that, from us tonight. It's not about the players, it's not about the fans, it's about the rich owners that these guys have, that are just looking towards the pound, shillings and pence. And you know, when it gets to that stage, pocket, because putting them in their pocket doesn't mean anything. We need to punish them, and punish them properly, both UEFA and the Premier League. And if that's a points deduction for next season, so be it. But there has to be something. If that's a ban from Europe from next season, so be it. There has to be something to stop this from happening again, because it was an absolute shit show of 48 hours. And do you know what? It was actually enjoyable to sit back last night and watch them all fall like a pack of cards. And I was just having a little giggle to myself, and I thought the funniest was Spurs taking so long for their cards to fall. But you know what? I hope this is fan power and people power at its best, because we're all very proud of our history being Villa fans, and to stand there and look at the statue in front of the Trinity Road, and each time you walk past it you get goosebumps and the hair stand up in the back of your neck, and we're there because that man had the foresight to invent the first ever league. Who's to know whether that would ever happen in any other sport or whatever? But what a mighty fine job our club has done at setting up, being founder members, probably geographically the lowest in England from those founder members. Presume we're geographically lower than Wolves, Derby and West Brom. So it's funny looking at the geography of those founder member teams all being north of Birmingham. So
working class Britain, that's what it was. It was working class Britain, England. Yeah. It was
nothing in London, nothing anywhere near London. It's great.
No, and that's, and look, it's poignant. As I said, I went away from the podcast on Monday, was it? I think it was Monday, and I don't usually have any regrets from a podcast, but I was very emotional at times during that podcast, and what I didn't kind of let it out. I felt I was tempering what I wanted to say, and I felt I shouldn't have to do that as a football fan. I felt that, I should be able to say what the hell I want, whether it's a podcast or not, whether it's my podcast, but I shouldn't have been put in a situation to feel that pissed off about the game of football, because, look, call it as it is, vulture funds came in here. Like John W. Henry's apology today was like, come on, basically like that's a production team. I didn't buy it, and for me, he didn't say he more or less said sorry we got caught. If he knows that the fans mean an awful lot to the club and to the sport, well then why didn't he consult the fans? I said today as well, Barcelona, Real Madrid, they still haven't pulled out of this. Barcelona, Real Madrid, Juventus haven't pulled out of this yet. Barcelona, Real Madrid are going to have to go back to their socios. Their socios,
but there's a reason for that. There's a big reason for that, and that again is due to money. So you've got the three poorest teams financially in the whole thing is probably Barcelona, Real Madrid and Juventus. So it'll be interesting to see what they can come up with. But like the worrying thing from my point of view is that they tried to change the coefficient in UEFA and secure these guys into the Champions League. I hope that's not going to be the case going forward, just because of it.
UEFA folded like a cheap suit already. Like Ceferin or whatever his name is, he basically said, "We're delighted to have you back. We're not going to have any sanctions against you." And and I said it in the last on the podcast we did. If UEFA were lenient, the Premier League are going to be lenient too. But the Premier League can't be lenient because the Premier League is rightly screwed if the teams leave again. So
it can't be money. You can't. These guys don't get hit in the pocket.
No,
it's pointless. You saw what happened when Man City broke the FFP, and instead of any punishment, they get a fine. And I'm sure they were laughing when they got that. It's a disgrace. But look, we can't make these decisions. But I was very annoyed after listening to that Ceferin, who I couldn't even pronounce his name before the weekend. After listening to him for a good while yesterday, while I was going about me.
I watched all that of the UEFA delegate thing as well. I think I said that to you, and I went, I'd watch 5 minutes of this. The next thing, an hour and a half later, I was writing a report in work. It was still on in the background. I nearly know French after it,
Anyway,
it is what it is. Look, we'll see what the crack is here. It's going to be different. On a completely different note, guys, I got fan mail. And I have no idea who the person was that sent it to me. They sent it in via the website. And you know what the fan mail said, Paddy, was? I don't know. It could have been my mother. They said, will you please cut your beard? It's gone very long and it makes you look really old. So apparently, and I look back, apparently all the sides of my beard here look very old. Now, for anyone who keeps saying, well, I've had one or two people in real life, not here, say to me that my face is off center. It's not. It's because this part here hasn't gone grey yet. That's all it is. So my face isn't off center, okay, before anyone says it. But they said, cut your beard and don't slick your hair back. So I'm going with the floppy kind of Gareth Barry kind of fringe today. And I did trim my beard. So thank you to whoever that was if you're listening. Bringing back my youthful exuberance and my along with it as well. But a couple of comments, speaking of fan mail, a couple of comments from the guys. We've got some regulars in here. Lewis, Good to have you back again, Del Boy. Great to see you too. Connor, all the way from Brazil, supping on sangria down by the beach, I'm sure,
Nice.
on a holiday. We've got Cy Staples. I'll bring up this here. Did you lads notice Henry and Glazer's apologies were to their own staff? I did, and they didn't apologize. They apologized for putting them in the position they put them in, as opposed to apologizing to the football fraternity. And to me, it didn't butter any parsnips for me. If that's the correct phrase, I think we might have. No, we don't have news just yet, but it didn't butter any parsnips for me. You're dead right.
We do have news.
Fan power shows all us Irish Villa fans going to our first trip versus Wimbledon in '94. I think you said to me, Paddy, you were at that as well, weren't you?
I was with it. I was with Del Boy on that trip. Yeah, I think that was one of my first trips with the Irish Lions.
Yeah.
Team is in, Neil.
Team is in. Just must be in. Okay, let's share it up. So before we give the ghost away, share screens. The Chrome tab. Which one is this? I know. There we go. Share. Here we go. So let's react together. Sorry, Dad, I'm going to take this down. I don't have. Wait a minute. I don't have any. Oh, we have team news. So Martinez, Cash, Konza is just coming up here on screen. It's taking forever. Martinez, Cash, Konza, Mings, Target, McGinn, Louise, Nakamba, Traore, Watkins, and Ramsey. Interesting. I wouldn't have picked it myself. Not that I wouldn't have picked it. I wouldn't have guessed it, should I say. I wouldn't have guessed it myself. And Nakamba and McGinn anchoring the midfield. We've asked for that before. It's
hidden there, but there's big news on the bench as well. We see Courtney Hawes and Carney.
It's not hidden. His name is huge. It's not hidden at all. But yeah, that's a big one. I suppose that could be seen as the two fingers to Man City that we've got young players coming up and we're going to use them. You might have your Phil Fodens, but we've got our Carney Chukwuemekes as well. Courtney Hawes, salutations, my friend. As you know, everybody knows we are selling real estate with Courtney Hawes' name on it. But look, I'm happy enough with that. Yeah, look, would I like to see more attacking options in the bench? I surely would, but we just don't have them, I think, is the big thing here. The big question here is, are we playing 4-4-2? Are we playing 4-5-1?
Are we playing 4-5-1?
We're playing 4-5-1, yeah. This is going to be interesting. I think we could be playing 4-4-2 with Traore a bit further forward. Because it's an interesting one. It's an interesting one, yeah. Louise and Jacob Ramsey went out on the right when Trezeguet went off, and then he moved back in central again. But I don't know. Do I like Jacob Ramsey out on the right? I don't know. I haven't seen him there play that often. I think if they were really going to go with if they were really going to go with the original formation, wouldn't you think they would have played El Ghazi out there just as by default?
You would have thought so, wouldn't you?
On the left, yeah.
Well, that's what's making me think, because Jacob Ramsey played on the right against Liverpool for a while, and he was completely non-existent. It was like as if he didn't know what to do out there. So I would expect to see him central. So hardly playing Ramsey on the left. The possibility, or if they go with Traore further on, Ramsey played through the middle and maybe McGinn on the left. Yeah, there's a few permutations there for sure.
Would we take a look at the other mushes that are coming along that we're supposed to be playing? Let's have a look at Man City's team. I'm sure all the listeners and watchers, should I say, have had a look at this already, but this is news to me. Let's share. So what we have here is Ederson, Kyle Walker, Diaz, Stones, Zinchenko. I like Zinchenko. I think he's a good player. Gundogan, Rodrigo, Bernardo, Mahrez, Foden, and Jesus, with Stefan, who was only okay at the weekend in goals, but young American goalkeeper. Nathan Aki, who I would love to have seen start, because he was absolutely putrid. Sterling was poor. Laporte just basically completely. Did you see his tweet? He had no time for the messing that was going on. Absolutely no time. Torres, nice player. Mendy, Fernandinho. He shouldn't be there. He should have been sent off at the weekend, but that's another story. Chancelo and Garcia. What do we make of their team? They have the right players in the right places anyway. I think that's for certain.
Seem to have, yeah. Like as we said in the preview, they can mix it up and still cause us untold problems.
Yeah.
There's world-class players in there. Do you know what I mean? They're actually playing with a striker today as well, which they haven't done all the time. So Jesus will be there to give us trouble. So, it'll be Mahrez on the right, Foden on the left, would it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the three boys in behind, Bernardo, Rodrigo, and Gundogan. And then the back four.
I don't know. And without completely and utterly once again putting egg on my face, is Jesus or Jesus, is he a good matchup for our two centre halves? I think he is. I think our two centre halves are a good matchup for him. Like the obvious one is Mahrez's early crossing, and we know that we get caught from early crossing previously.
Yeah.
Like obviously Foden is going to be he's the danger man. Like obviously Foden played on the right against Matty Target, I think, the last time. But then again, positional versatility among their front three, and even down back as far as Bernardo, positional versatility there is fantastic. That's what you get when you pay like bazillions for your players.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like it's I still stand by the fact that we can get a draw out of this, but it's going to be difficult.
Oh, yeah.
No matter what team they put out, it's going to be difficult. I hope we're not looking like we've had, as I said at the start, we've had a number of games. I know they've hammered us 6-1 last season, but in the away game, they got a goal that was offside, even though VAR checked it. The player even told the referee he was offside. We had the incident at Wembley where they got a corner that wasn't a corner and scored from it. And then we had the horrendous decision by the referee to award the goal in the last game. When who was it that came back onside and took the ball off Mings? Can't even remember. I can remember it's Mings though. Not that I'm saying it was Mings' fault. It was like not by any stretch.
It was Bernardo. Was it?
Bernardo, was it?
Or was it Rodrigo? It was someone. Put it that way. It just all we know is it happened. Don't come to us looking for specifics and details. You're in the wrong place if you're looking for specifics and details. Here, let's have a look at a few. I'll remove this dirt from our screen, and let's have a look at a couple of comments. Lewis, a bit more salt and pepper in that beard. I know it wasn't you that sent in the message anyway, telling me I should shave it. I'm gonna go. Just for men who are looking to sponsor the podcast. Maybe I'll get a few.
Boot polish, Neil.
Yeah. It was cool when Roy Keane was part of our backroom staff because everybody loved his massive grey beard, but maybe mine isn't so great. Lewis, once again, want to see some creativity from our wingers this evening. I think that's been the weakest element of the team since the dip. Priority to strengthen. Absolutely, 100%. 100%. The amount of production that we've had from the wings. I know we've got 2 Trezeguet's goals or whatever like that, but realistically speaking, once we've taken Jack out of the team, our wing play has been dire, and we haven't been able to find a way to go directly through the middle. Big job for Ollie Watkins tonight. I don't like him up against Ruben Diaz and Stones. I hope he goes out and scores a hat-trick, but no striker has a good game against them. So let's hope Ollie Watkins can be that guy that does. He is, he's going to have to run he's going to have to play in between the two of them, figure of eight around the two of them, risk being offside, make sure he gets on the shoulder. I would like us to play through the middle if we are going 5 in midfield, or if we are going 4-4-2, place a small bit more through the middle, maybe a Jacob Ramsey sliding the ball down either side of the defenders. I always go back to a tactic that Villa have only ever played once or twice since they've played in the Premier League, and they played it quite a bit in the Championship under Dean Smith. But if you go back to Everton, our first game that we won last season, when Wesley scored, and that beautiful ball down the side of Yerry Mina and in between the two centre halves, it's a definite tactic, and it's not played that often in the Premier League because number one, it needs to be perfect, but If you play a ball down the side of a centre half has to get turned. He's got no option other than get turned.
Yeah.
And if you've got a striker that is maybe leading off the other defender's inside shoulder, and you play the ball down the outside side of the other centre half, and our striker can get in behind him, once he gets turned, it's penalty city. Or it's a red card situation. That's how Ollie Watkins. I know they didn't play it down the side, but if you go back to our first game of the season against Sheffield United, Ollie Watkins makes his run across the field, if I'm not mistaken, from the shoulder of the other defender to get in around or to get behind John Egan, and then John Egan has to pull him down. It's a great tactic, you know. Striker starts his run from one centre half, play the ball down the side of the other centre half, get him turned. He doesn't know where the striker is. He has to make physical contact with him if he can't get to the ball, because he doesn't know where he's coming from. And look, if everybody else is playing for contact, why don't we? So I really, really like that.
I think we've been quite good going direct. McGinn's ball again for Ollie Watkins against Liverpool last time out as well, straight through the middle.
Yes,
got a bit of luck with it. We need to mix it up a bit. You know, that's been my biggest gripe since we've lost Jack. That it's just been one dimensional, and so I play through the middle. Maybe even boss that middle if there's 5 in there. It'll be interesting to see what way he lines up.
Absolutely, and there's a couple of things in that. Owen, thanks a million for dropping by. Owen thinks it's I was wondering, is it going to be a diamond? Brave to play a diamond against this Man City midfield. You'd be brave to play a diamond. Not out of the question, you know. Maybe they won't be expecting it, maybe, but you would be brave. I know we give away the middle midfield and we protect the D in front of our back four specifically, but maybe against
it might be a tough ask against
West Brom. Yeah,
West Brom maybe. Yeah, these two fullbacks will cripple us if we play a diamond, I would imagine.
Specifically when you have, I suppose realistically, when you have Traore in the team, I think playing a diamond is dangerous. It's just he isn't best when he starts back far back the field. You look back at any of the old scouting reports or any of the old match reports from Leon when he played there. Excuse me, the second half or the second season he played there, the season just before he moved to us. He was deployed further back, and he just isn't as productive back there. When you deploy him further forward, the statistics say that he is more productive. So that's why I'm maybe thinking that we might be going with a snaky 4-4-2 here, and see what happens. But it's unlikely, you know. It's unlikely. It's probably going to be more of a 4-5-1.
If it is a 4-4-2, I'd prefer it to be Ramsey than Bertie out on the right. So you see Bertie pushing more on, or you know, maybe a 4-4-1-1 with Bertie in behind Ollie Watkins, but we'll find out soon enough. It's a strong enough side, considering their injury. So fingers crossed we can get something out of it.
Alex says it's a 4-3-1-2. Could be. Yeah, it could be. Packed midfield gives us a small bit there. Once again, we're leaving the wings wide open. Walker does get forward. Zinchenko, as I say, I'd love Zinchenko at Aston Villa because he can play central midfield as well. Like for Ukraine, he flip-flops between left back and central midfield. I don't know if he still does it anymore, but he was originally bought as a central midfielder. So I'd love Zinchenko. I just think he's a good, honest player. I know he's been a bit outspoken, and so his significant other against Manchester City's rotation policy recently. So, you know, I don't know whether anybody wants to actually do business with any of these teams in the near future, but Zinchenko would be somebody that would be, he's just a good player. What do we have here? Kanzukian British. That's class flag. There we go. Speaking of flags, there goes my flag in the background. Just decided it was going to come down. Hope Chukwuemeka gets a run out. Real talented kid. Why not? If we're 2-0 down with the last 10 minutes, bring him on. Why not? We're at that stage in the league. We don't have to care. We don't have to worry. We're not going to be in the league next year, but hopefully we've got something to hold on to. And there's a fly flying across my screen here. Hopefully we've got something to hold on to. You know,
I really like Carney. We've made no we haven't been hiding that. We've a lot of young kids there to come in and have a go. So I'd love to see him get a run out.
Yeah. I like this. Then I've called him Jesus. Paddy called him Jesus. But if we were really Irish, we would have called him Jesus. That's what we would have called him, because that's what he'd be called in Ireland. Exactly. Sai says that's Foden's and Mahrez, Murray, me, not so much Jesus. Yeah, they are the worry. I think for me, they're the creative aspects, and he'll put them away.
But not only are they creative, they'll chip in with goals. Well, which is the worrying side of it, because we lost you, Neil.
I think we lost you. Yeah, we lost one of us anyway there. I think you said something about goals, and I agree with you. Whatever you said, I agree with you.
Well, what I said was Foden and Mahrez can chip in with goals, and they're both great finishers as well.
Yeah. Devoy asks, question for me, buddy Paddy, will you be talking to your dad after this?
Not usually. We normally give it a day or two to simmer down. Apart from the last time we went, where I was actually sitting with, I had to go and find him after the game at the Etihad.
Yeah, that's what the judge has told you, two of you as well. You have to give it a day before you talk to each other. You can't be giving out to each other.
Yeah. My dad is fairly measured. If you beat them, he'll accept it. Mainly because they don't get the dirty ones against them, the bad decisions from VAR and those things. But he generally would say it, like he was forced on the phone to say that they shouldn't have scored at Wembley. So he's a bit long in the tooth now for fighting with me. Exactly. Oh, and I agree with you. Stones doesn't like to be turned. That's why he's been so good this year, is they've been able to keep the ball in front of him. He's been a completely changed player this year, and obviously Ruben Diaz coming in there, he's a bit of an all-action defender there, so it makes it a small bit easier for him. Rob Henry, I like this. We need a McGinn masterclass tonight. We do need a McGinn masterclass, but if you were to ask me what a McGinn masterclass is, I don't think I know anymore. Because I would like him to kind of control midfield and carry the ball forward, but it's going to be really interesting if he's going to be able to do that in a midfield with Jacob Ramsey in there as well. But I envisage that more than likely you're going to go with a 4-2-3-1 here, and that would see McGinn with a bit of a license to go through the middle. That's the way I see it. If I had to make a call on it now, and I'd love to see that happen. I'd love to see them get a run at them. He's been showing flashes of what he can do over the last few weeks, and just not enough of it. But we all know what a great player is in there, and it will come again. The fly is after getting his back on me. I should have killed him when I had the chance after flying into my eye. John Steele has a comment up there. I think you all can see it because I can't. It's something to do with McGinn and his energy. Once again, John, I agree with you there. His directness is definitely something that we need today. So I agree with you as well. We need to keep the ball better. Ball retention has been terrible. What's been even worse is the fact that we've been giving it away with brutal crossing. You go back to Sheffield United. Oh my God! Like genuinely, I could have backheeled the ball across the box better than that. It was poor. It was poor, and we're not people to come in and to throw the boot in, but that was poor. Hopefully that there's a small bit more of a coherent effort. We've had 10 days as well. They've only had since Sunday, and I know they've made a lot of changes tonight, but we've had 10 days. So let's see what happens here. James Walford, I was waiting for it to come in. Keenan to come on and break his duck tonight. I was waiting for somebody to mention it. Where are all the Keenan Davis fans gone? But no, you look, wouldn't we all love it? We're not slagging the guy at all. I'm a big fan of his. I just don't think maybe starting is correct for him just at the moment. Not that he isn't able to start. I just think just where the team is, we won't be able to carry a second striker. I could be 100% wrong in that. And that's why I don't think we're going to play 4-4-2 tonight. Realistically, you saved the second striker for Sunday. Yeah, absolutely. That'll be the day for him to come on and break his duck. If he comes on tonight and he bangs one in, he caused City awful hassle in Wembley last year. So when he came on and he played in the wing and Samata was up front and he did he cross the ball in for Samata's goal? I don't know. No, I don't know. No. I could be wrong. Target? That was Matt Target, I think. Maybe it was. The half ball. Waiting to see Shore now doing no. We're not even putting that one up on screen, Lewis. No passes. He's had a few of them, those long bloody balls across the pitch that he's just giving away. The thing about that, Paddy, is no one's telling him to do that. No one's coaching him to do that. So why he's doing it is beyond me.
Connor says, do you think the transfer market teams like Villa have a better chance to get the big players after what Greedy Six did? But should the Greedy Six have a lot of the big players? It's an interesting question.
Yeah, the last part of it very relevant there. Good honest players that want to play football, don't want to be rotated, want to play every week. You know, they couldn't come to a better club.
It's a like it's all well and good. We're all talking about owners. We're talking about players, managers, and all that being embroiled in this. Can be guaranteed agents were licking their lips at this European Super League as well. They're getting away scot-free in this as well. But you think that there's a good player that maybe gets a sniff of going to one of those clubs, their agent is going to be on the phone to them saying, hey, recency bias, fuck that, what happened? You know, go to Real Madrid, go to Barcelona, go to it's cutthroat. It's cutthroat, exactly. A goal from a corner too, Mark. It's you know what? The offer is still there. I will sing a song on the podcast if they score. I will sing a song. And if Keenan Davis, that would be it. If Keenan Davis comes on, scores a header from a corner, I'll I don't know what I'll do. But I'll do something else. It'd be great. It would just be fantastic. We're 40 minutes away from kickoff, so we might wrap this up in a moment. But Delboy says no surprise, no mention of Barkley. What a disappointment. Is he even on the bench today? Oh, he is. He's on the bench. All right. Yeah. This could be exactly the game he comes on and he reignites himself in Villa fans' hearts. We'll see. Anything is possible in the game of football. If the last 72 hours have taught us anything, that impossible is nothing in the beautiful game. Impossible is absolutely nothing. Paddy, will I shave the beard? Oh, Jesus, that's one no. Will I shave the beard? If I shave my beard,
you made that promise before, and we had to backtrack on a guest. So don't make that promise again.
Lewis, if I shaved my beard with my hair the way it is at the moment, if you ever seen No Country for Old Men and Javier Bardem's character in it, the nutcase, I think I'd look too much like him if I got rid of the beard. So I don't know. It's maybe I might have some law enforcement agents be knocking on the door as well. They wouldn't know who I was. I look a bit creepy without the beard, but I don't know. I don't know. Paddy, what did you say your prediction was for tonight?
1-1.
1-1. I'm a copycat, and I don't have any creative brain in my head at the moment. I'm going to go 1-1 too, because I think that's what it's going to be. I think it's going to be a nice, entertaining game. I think, I hope, should I say, that Aston Villa come out
just
full of fire
as well, which has only come in once, I think, which was Ollie Watkins for a hat-trick. So I think that's a bit wishful thinking tonight.
Yeah, I usually bet. Oh, actually, yeah, that reminds me. Anybody out there got a good bet for Henry the Brave? I'm going to put. I've decided I'm going to put for the Henry the Brave charity. I've been putting on a $5 just on a random bet for Aston Villa, and if it comes by right, I should probably just give them the $5 every time because I haven't had a bet that wins yet. But if it does win, I'll give all the proceeds to charity. Anybody get any good bets out there that we could know in gambling when the fun stops, stop and only bet as much as you can afford to lose and all that stuff? But I don't know. Would we
I just noticed there that Spurs are drawing 1-1 at the moment, which means 3 of the teams that have played since this since this shit show have all drawn their games. So I think we might be a good bet for a draw tonight.
We're Aston Villa. We're Aston Villa, Paddy. Things don't go to plan like that sometimes, but we never know. It might. That's not me being defeatist. I am having a look here. Oh, I thought it was Carlton Palmer was there back to score, and I was going, whoa, that would be a turn up for the books. Anytime goal score for Bertrand Traore, 13-2. Just picked him from the top of my brain. Bertrand Traore, I'm putting money on him to score at any stage. Why not? Job done. There we go. And a whole 40 euros will be going to the Henry the Brave based on my winnings, should we win. Guys, crack open a can, make yourself a cup of tea, make yourself a cup of coffee, put the kids to bed, whatever you need to do before the game starts at 8:15. Here's to a great result. Catch Paddy on at Villa Paddy. Catch me on at Love McGrath Pod. thanks to everybody who for everything that you guys do. Follow us on YouTube, follow us everywhere, and you know that jazz. Thanks a million to the Sports Social Podcast Network as well for putting up with us over the last week. And we will be continuing on there as well. Here's to a great Aston Villa win, and we will be back with a post-match podcast shortly after the game. Up the Villa, guys, and hopefully you have a great afternoon.
Up the Villa.
I continue every single time I forget the outro.